Hello guys, and welcome to a new WARNO video today by me, Vulcan. In this one, I have for you a 2 versus 2 on Ripple, and I'm going to be playing with the 39th Guards. I really wanted to share this replay with you guys because it's probably one of the best 2v2s I've played in a while, and yeah, it's just a lot of fun. So let me take you through some of the units that I got down at the start. I'm going to be heading off with the Razvedka. The 39th Guards doesn't get very good forward deployment units, so the Razvedka are the best infantry that I've got to work with, and they do manage to catch out an enemy Humvee, which was good, which destroys some airborne scouts. But my Razvedka is going to swiftly be cleaned up by the AH-1F Cobras of Sneaky J on this right hand side. So lose both my recon squads early on, not ideal. I do manage, however, save my BTR and the UAZ with the Conkers in it. And I've got the MI8s on the left-hand side. They're going to be trying to creep around here and potentially get some damage. I also was trying to get the MI8 to spot the enemy helicopters so that I could use the Su-27 I've just brought in to shoot them down. Now, usually, at the start of the game, there's not going to be too much AA. At least that's what I thought. As 4 Stingers fly out of the tree line on the right hand side, and 3 of them hit, causing my Su-27 to go down. But what I have spotted is the enemy command back here. The Humvee that captured the sector initially. So I'm going to be trying to use my helicopters to take it out after taking some small arms fire from nearby infantry. Mi-8T almost shot down by the Phantom II. But the rocket's able to get on target there, just in time. Now I'm going to be pulling off, using the terrain to my advantage. You can see we're going to be diving down the side of this hill, so that when the Phantom comes back around, it's not going to be able to see them fast enough and hits the wrong place. So I'm running for my AA right now, so that I can use it to cover me against this Phantom. And also the A-10. A-10 was also coming in to shoot down those helicopters early on. I was bringing in an Su-27 to attack the enemy helicopters from the left side instead of the right, because if all of the AA is in here, and it's most likely Stingers and such early on, they're not going to have as much range to the left-hand side, so my Su-27 might have been able to get the job done. The Phantom's still coming around, basically attacking the ground where the helicopters were, but I've managed to get this Mi-8 all the way back, which is good. And if they try and attack it again, we will shoot them down. We got the double OSA here. They do have the extra veterancy from the BTR nearby, so they're going to be quite effective. Yeah, on the middle, I've got the 2 T-80BVs, double OSA. I brought in a Conkers and a Razvedka there at the start. Buying out Conkers at the start is actually very expensive. Now here, a bit of a mistake from Sneaky. My Su-27, it was hanging about, came round again with the Phantom II, hadn't evac'd it, and my Su-27 intercepted it very nicely, actually. Now my Ottoleni going to be moving forwards and trying to kind of cut off the road here. A couple of airborne Stingers going to be coming under fire from the AK-74s. Conkers now moving up as well to help in controlling that right-hand side. But I am a little bit worried, of course, because we have completely lost this sector, and this is the sector that I kind of need to contest throughout the game. The middle sector here at Hotel is quite difficult for us to contest, although Fox has done a good job of getting his T-80BV and his Motostrauki into this position very early on. And my T-80BVs are therefore going to be moving up as well, although I wasn't so sure about what was on this right-hand side, so I can't really be too aggressive up this road. And of course all of the helicopters are hanging about, so a little bit risky for me to move forwards, although maybe I could have, considering the OSA is making a decent amount of ground there. Regardless, my primary focus right now is setting up a coherent force on the right hand side with some solid combined arms that is going to be able to push back through on this right hand side. So I've got the OSA, I've got the Barusa, I've got the T-80BV on the way, and we're going to be backing those up with more units such as the BMP-3s with the Motostrauki. The Motostrauki in these BMP-3s, the BMP-3s specifically are unique to the 39th Guards at the moment. They might be added to another division later on, but for now the BMP BMP3s are unique here, and they are very good. They have a 100mm gun, a 30mm autocannon, and then the AIRFORCE, which is very fast. It has a decent range. It just kind of lacks a bit of accuracy. But otherwise, a decent AIRFORCE. It can apply a lot of pressure at range, not necessarily a lot of threat or potency. So I've managed to get my helicopters back here. You can see I brought in a couple of euros to fix those up, because I didn't buy an FSP at the start, because in a 2v2, having an FSP is, I guess, quite a bit more risky than doing it in like a 10v10, for example, because you're sacrificing so many points at the start of the game to bring it in. Anyway, helicopter's going to be ready to go, so heading them back over to my forces on the hill, with the euros coming up as well, so that we can fix ourselves up, resupply my OSA and such if I need to. Meanwhile, in the center, the Razvedka Conquer's now moving up to this tree line. Fox did manage to get his BRDM in here to capture this, so we are continuing to increase our lead. We're over 200 points now with the +1. We haven't captured Alpha yet, but he's done a good job in the middle, and this OSA going to be smashing these little birds. That's a bad time for those little birds. Nice double kill there from that OSA at the end. So 4 little bird kills. T80UD though is in trouble on 1 health, and his initial push does eventually get broken down just as I'm starting to move up the T80BV to match him. Razvedka able to help spot the TOW 2 at least, but I'm going to have to be careful of that TOW 2 moving forwards. Meanwhile, on the right hand side, AH1F has revealed itself once more, but I'm not too worried about the Cobras now, because I do have the Bruiser in position. I've got the OSA. The BMP3s are waiting and ready to provide fire support at range. I've got the Razvedka moving forward on the flank here into this building to provide me with recon, of course. So my push is starting to come to fruition here. In the middle, T80BV unfortunately got caught out by the tanks coming through, along with the HGM there. Now my Conquer's looking for the M1A1 kill. If he's not paying attention, that could definitely do the job, but the M1A1 moving just back in time to avoid that missile. Now Phantom 2 coming in. Unfortunately, my T80BV here getting caught out by the abundance of rockets at range. Double Phantom 2 coming over, trying to kill my helicopters. That Phantom 2 is going to get shot down. The second one also going to get shot at, but able to get away. Motostrauki in the open did get taken out. I'm going to have to smoke off the T80BV to get that back and repaired. But one good thing about this situation is the AH1Fs have used up all of their rockets, so they're not going to kill the BMP. The Phantom coming round again for another strike onto the MAA, very risky, and my Su-27 going to come in and help out. Another unit that's currently unique to the 39th, the Su-27, very, very awesome aircraft, look at it, absolutely beautiful. So Razvedka going to find the enemy sniper here. The sniper actually pretty good in this situation because it has an M14 as well as its long rifle, and the Razvedka just didn't stand a chance. The airborne sniper is actually super strong. Motostrauki going to try and pull back as well. Conquerors is still doing a runner. I'm moving up back all of my units here to get resupplied and reloaded because my OSAs are low on ammunition, if not out of ammunition. But the F-16 coming in from Sneaky. Really, really nice strike here from him. The Maverick hits the OSA. The second shot kills the T-80 as I'm driving it back to the tree line. And that was the full health one. This is why I should have been reversing it. But I didn't expect the second missile there at all, nor the strike in the first place as an aircraft comes in for my AA. So a solid play by Sneaky. BMP3 providing great fire support though as Sneaky starts to push out of the tree line. A little bit of a miscalculation on his part. Going to get a lot of his units hit very hard indeed. Another Phantom 2 coming in for the strike onto the Mi-8. He does manage to get the kill. My Su-27 currently on cooldown still, so not able to really respond to that Phantom very well. But I've managed to take out quite a few units on this left-hand side, including the sniper, so that was good. His Phantom 2 playing with fire as it comes back around over my AA. And that's the second time now that his aircraft has died from leaving it in the sky too long, so able to take advantage of that. A-10 cleans up the BMP-3, could have hung about maybe to deal with the Motostrelki, but after his other aircraft got shot down, I can understand why you'd evac that. Meanwhile in the centre, Farx's pain continues as he gets pushed out by the M1A1 Abrams in the centre. My Su-27 now hanging about, waiting for enemy airstrikes once again as I decide to push forwards with the T-80BV. I've got quite a lot of supply vehicles here, as you can see, to repair and rearm my units. I've got to get more AA up here ASAP, but I'm also going to be bringing up a Motostrelki in the BMP-3 so that I can push into this right hand side, because we have managed to get Motostrelki in here, which is good, because that's going to allow me to deal with the enemy units on this side. Now, airborne military police coming through. Now ideally I don't actually need to unload the Motostrelki, that actually gives them targets. The MTLB can engage with the PKT. Unfortunately, when the MTLBs get fully pinned, it forces my Motostrelki to unload. And they are going to be routed on the right hand side, so yeah, a little bit unfortunate. But here we go, Su-27 coming in to save the day against the A-10s. Managing to get 2 hits on target there. Second Su-27 coming around, looking to finish off the kill, but enemy Eagle on the way, able to get a lovely kill there, take out the A-10 as well. Beautiful, beautiful sortie from the Su-27. Now looking for the A-10 in the middle with this Su-27 and take that out as well. It's an absolute masterclass from the Su-27s in this game. It's always beautiful to see those high tier units really living up to their potential, and really punished his airplay in that moment. So Motostrelki now going to be occupying that building. We're going to be continuing to try and make a little bit of ground on the right hand side, because whilst that was going on, the Mi-8T helped rocket down the rest of the enemy infantry. Mi-8 going to be moving up here. Another plane coming in though. Sneaky being absolutely relentless with these aircraft, but this time the smoke stopping the F-16 from getting on target. Lucky to get that out alive as the OSA misses 2 of its 3 missiles. Now more reinforcements on the way. Motostrelki in these MTLBs. I've got more Mi-8s on the way. My plan was to try and maybe bait some of the aircraft. We've shot down a lot of the Phantom 2s already, so I wasn't that worried about it, but he really doesn't like my Mi-8s being in the sky and using them as recon. So if I can bring in like 2 of them in this case, he might try and shoot down 1, and then I can catch it with the AA. I've also, of course, invested in the Su-27s instead of investing in more AA. So I am kind of reliant on them. Got to be a little bit careful, but another OSA now coming in, and a Barusa. The Barusa more useful against helicopters than aircraft, really, because the aircraft will fly so fast over it that it probably won't acquire the target that fast enough. T-80BV going to be running away from that A-Gem as it comes towards us. It's going to be a tow too. The nasty 8 gems they are from the 82nd Airborne. We're still sitting on the +1 though. You can see that we've still got the middle captured. My T-80BV on the left hand side here was trying to help out flank any units that would push forwards. So that was good. They did manage to capture the left hand side just now though, so no longer a +1 advantage for us. So a couple of my MTLBs with the Motostrelki moving into the left side. I've got the Motorstrike moving into the right side. My OSAs are moving up here to try and get kills onto the AH-1F Cobras, but Sneaky's going to move back in good time. I'm now going to bring up a bunch of Sapere, because they're going to be a lot more useful for dealing with the close range against the airborne. I think he's now got some heavy hogs in play, and he's going to be looking to get his big Zuni rockets onto the T-80BV. Thankfully not enough of them hit to get the kill, and front armor was facing, so no worries whatsoever there. Just going to have to back it up, get it fixed up, and move back forwards again. Osa running for the hills as the Humvee comes and gets the tow on target. Very nicely done. Airborne fire teams running into the BMP-3 here. The Dragon not able to fire at this range. AIRFORCE have a minimum range of 300 meters. So the BMP able to just delete those squads. My Motorstrike find and kill the sniper. So that works out really well. Meanwhile, BMP-3 getting long range AIRFORCE onto the M1 IP. Heavy Hogs coming over to get their front 20 mils on target. My OSA looking to take them down. Managed to get rid of the Humvee tow, which is good. So that's no longer putting threat onto my AA here. And finally Sneaky's going to pull back with the M1 IP as he realizes that's under threat from the AIRFORCE. But here comes the Sapere. If he brings in enemy infantry to contest me, I can use the Sapere to just run them over, because I brought in probably more than I need. MI8 now pushing forwards. I've got the recon coming forwards. F-16's coming in once again. Not finding the BMP-3 it was looking for. Gets shot down by the Su-27 and the OSA. And really just making sure I'm on point now with these kills. So A-10 now going to be a threat, but the Barusa plus the Su-27, another kill for the Su-27. This time, unfortunately, getting taken out by the Avengers at close range. I didn't quite get there in time with the BMP-3. And the Heavy Hogs have done quite a significant amount of damage to it. So having to sit here and deal with that. The Motorstrike is trying to get as much light arms fire on target as possible. OSA trying to move forwards and get the job done. But it runs out of missiles to shoot down the other two. The Zuni rocket's not quite getting on target, thankfully. But able to run away and bring up a replacement. OSA gets the shot on one, looking for the shot on the second. And we're really starting to punish Sneaky's reliance on these helicopters and aircraft. And my plan here was to clean up as many of these helicopters and aircraft as possible, and then kind of bulldoze through the sector and Echo in order to secure it for our team, because currently we're losing to a +4 as our opponents have now captured Hotel and they're continuing to push through on the left hand side. So I've got to really get a move on, put a lot of pain into Sneaky if I can, but Sneaky's going to do a runner here with a lot of his units. He's got his Humvees transporting his units away from this right side. Mi-8T going to get shot down in the meantime though, as these Avengers do have very good stabilizers, 55% accuracy on the move with those Stingers. There was also a Stinger in these trees, so I'm going to move the MTLBs to go clean that up. Mi-8 is going to have to move away for the time being. But you can see the wall of armor coming his way, and I believe this was why that he decided to do a runner here from my units, because he kind of thought that this right side was lost, and therefore decided to focus on helping his teammate on the left. But BMP-3 just going to continue to fire away with its main gun until it gets its autocannon on target. These Avengers aren't armored, so the HE able to be fired from its main gun as well. The 30 cannon going to be the main killing part there though. I'm also going to be spotting his artillery that he's invested in, the 105s. They are going to be left undefended. He's going to try and wheel them back, but they are extremely slow. F-16 coming in. Another aircraft for my Su-27 to snack on. Managed to shoot that down Beautiful stuff. Another good kill for us. Yeah, the BMP-3 is just running ahead. Since I saw a lot of his units running for the hills, I just decided to keep driving forward. So you can see they've just got move commands, these M102s. I don't think can direct fire very well against the BMP. Yeah, they don't have any AT, so the M102 is just getting obliterated here by the auto cannons. And I'm just continuing to attack move towards the enemy. So I've managed to get through on the right hand side. That's brought the enemy down to just a +2. So certainly helps us out temporarily. Now I'm going to have to think about how I'm going to help Fox out, because Fox is, again, having a hard time against the 3rd Armoured of Silhouette. The M1A1HAs breaking down his tanks quite nicely, and he is unable to sort of commit to these engagements. So we've got to try and work out how we can get the mid back. So I'm going to be bringing a Radvitka there to help with recon. I've got a superiority coming up to potentially contest, and then I've got a couple of T-80Bs that are going to be moving through on the left-hand side to, side shot any tanks that push forwards aggressively, allowing Fox to then at least get a contesting CV into the backside of the sector. But as you can see, the T-80D is really suffering against the M1A1HA. Its accuracy really benefiting it here. F-16 coming in from Sneaky. Another F-16. Does manage to get the kill onto the helicopter there. And actually gets away from Tunguska. Anyway, meanwhile, BMP going to be killing off the Humvee there. And yeah, all of my units coming up on this right hand side. So the reason I'm bringing up even more units on the right hand side is because I thought to myself, I can flank down from the right here into this sector, and I can contest Delta on the backside here. Then if I'm in this position, we would have more pressure on Hotel. So I thought I could use my advantageous position to make that happen. So you can see all of my units starting to move over in that direction. I've got the Motostraki BMP, I've got the Razvedka, the BMP-3 is kind of covering the main road, I've got the MI-8 there that's providing the recon. These T-80BVs are moving towards the spawn so that I can cut off any units there. And I'm going to have the Superi move up that direction as well to cover them from infantry at close range. You can see here I've also brought up a couple of BMP-3s with the Motostraki to help clean out the trees here. And the T-80BVs are going to be moving into these fire teams with laws to try and deal with those. With this Apache, a bit of a problem. Bringing up my OSA to try and help shoot that down. But here we go, T-80BV getting its shots on target. Going to be able to pin it down. I'll pin them down pretty fast, get the stuns on them, allow the Motostraukis to win that engagement. The Law really just struggles to do any damage against the T-80s at close range, so that's why I'm just bulldozing them through the front. Apache still causing problems. Got to be careful with the OSA, honestly, because there is a good chance that the 30mm can just kill the OSA very quickly indeed. In this case, the BMP-3 is actually getting some good damage into the fire teams. And you can see there the Apache, killing off the OSA very quickly. But Su-25 going to be able to get a really good double kill. Takes out the Apache, takes out the Abrams. Lovely stuff from Fox. So one of my T-80BVs, I do pull it back because the 84 fire team was there as well. But we're able to finish cleaning those up. And that's given Fox a decent position on the right hand side. I managed to move the camera just over in time for you to see my command unit die, which was a little unfortunate. But my BV here actually finding and killing an M48A Chaparral and the M1A1. These supply vehicles I'm going to be telling to come back to this road so that I can sell them, because you can now sell supply vehicles in WARNO. So if you use them up, you can sell them, get some value back, which is very nice indeed. A Su-25 cluster hanging about in the mid. Razvedka spotting that M1A1 is going to allow me to target that directly. I'm letting this one go in first just to kind of test the waters of AA. And you can see that there was quite a decent amount of AA there. But I'm able to at least get the cluster rockets off. Now I need to get rid of this M1 IP here that was sniping my transports. Because you see that I was trying to bring in loads of reinforcements down on this side. But unfortunately, like, Sneaky had fallen back to this position and then actually defended it, which is really clever, honestly. I didn't expect to really come into much resistance in this town because it wasn't really anywhere near the front. You know, I expected his forces to kind of move over here and help defend like more conventionally in this direction. But instead, Sneaky kind of fell back from this right-hand side into Delta and defended from that position. So my push that came down from the mountain bumped into like a second defensive line here, which was really, really cool. Not something you see too often, and a very smart strategic move. So Motostrelki have managed to get really quite far up here, and we've managed to capture the left side, which has counteracted the +2 that the enemy are getting in the center. Unfortunately, Motostrelki that was moving across the open does get taken out by the AH-1F, but I'm able to continue pushing up on the right hand side. I did lose my BMP-3 here though, as there is a TOW-2 sitting in this tree line causing me problems. All the while, my Superi moving up on the right hand side here, my T-80BVs still trying to cover the reinforcing zones here. Now what I probably didn't realise is that my T-80BV didn't really have line of sight here, but I do have an Mi-8 coming up to spot enemy forces. We're going to see Silhouette bring over some Bradleys and the M1A1HAs. Ark's going to be making a push in with his T-80UDs. They aren't doing too well in this engagement. I'm trying to move up my T-80BV to help out as well. A little bit of a misplay by Farks, really. Should have used the heavy cover here to manage the engagement against these units, because he probably could have dictated like what range he wanted to engage and what angle he wanted to engage, how many units at the time he wanted to engage. And I think in the chat at this point I was like, you need to focus on the Bradleys, because the Bradleys in this situation are actually going to do more damage than the M1A1HAs, because the M1A1HAs are actually, like, when they're stressed, more likely to miss than the T-80UDs, whilst the Bradleys with their HGMs have a set chance of hitting or not, and are guaranteed to do a certain amount of damage. So it's better to kill the Bradleys in that situation after the M1A1s have taken a bit of damage, and especially once the M1A1s smoke off. But anyway, my SU comes in, gets a couple kills there, which was really nice, and then unfortunately gets shot down by the AA on the left hand side. But my BMP-3 is still providing a lot of pressure over here, getting the kill onto the Fireteam Law, which is good, but the AH-64 Apache going to be spoiling the fun, so the BMP is going to be going down there eventually. But Fark's going to be coming into the center. Nice smoke wall to get his BRDM-2U into position, capture this, and then fall back. Really, really smart play, just because you don't need to keep the command vehicle in the sector anymore to capture it, only if it's contested. So him knowing that he doesn't need to stay there, he can just smoke it, run in, capture it, run back, so that then we can continue to cover from further back. Nice kill though from the Tunguska, takes out the Apache. My OSA that I brought in on this side unfortunately gets taken out. I was trying to get an OSA up here so that I could deal with the Blackhawks and the Cobras and stuff that were in position. But yeah, ends up getting sniped by one of these Humvee tow vehicles here. So now I'm bringing up some more OSAs to replace that. You see the T-80BVs on the backside are going to be able to get shots into some of the units that are trying to be sold throughout the game. So he's like trying to sell his supply there, and I'm just finishing it off, stopping him from getting the extra points that he can spend on other units. But yeah, with the left side secure, with the mid secure, with the right secure, we are now at that +4 that our opponents previously had. So we're able to catch up on points once again and take the lead. I am now bringing in a BMP-3 with the Motostrelki leader, and that's going to be assisting all of these Motostrelki and pushing into the sector and trying to cap it through the trees here. Meanwhile, Akatsayas from VulcanHDGaming are going to be providing some artillery support, which was nice. But yeah, I got to get rid of the HGMs, ideally. I could have maybe moved up my Mi-8, but I was a bit worried about the Vulcan there as well. There is a Vulcan AA. Barusa. Now moving to the right hand side, I'm going to be shifting some of my T-80BVs over. I realised that having the T-80BVs here wasn't really that necessary because my opponents completely stopped using these reinforcing points to bring units in. They were only using these ones. So I wasn't really able to capitalise on my position here. It's like, I feel like Sneaky played it really well. Like, he pulled out of Echo at the right time, set up a second defensive line, and then never used these reinforcement points ever again. It was actually a really, really smart play. I think he expected, however, that they would hold on to these two sectors, but they didn't manage to in the end. BMP 3, moving forwards, is going to be able to attack these airborne gunners, but the airborne gunners do have the M72, and whilst the T-80s earlier can tank those in the front armour, BMP3s not so much. But those airborne gunners have more than enough. There's the Mi-8 getting shot down by enemy AA as well. So there's a couple of Avengers or Stingers or something on the backside there that are doing the damage. Artillery from VulcanHDG trying to keep Silhouette out of the sector with his command on the left hand side, but as long as we control the centre, we are going to be continuing to head towards victory, which is nice. T-80BV here, pretty low on fuel, sat out in the open, just being shot at by the Humvee in cover. Don't have any recon because the Mi-8 obviously got shot down, so going to have to just smoke off and pull back. Osas, meanwhile, moving up to the right-hand side. There is an air spawn here as well, so if enemy aircraft come in again, then maybe I can get them shot down with the Osas. So that was kind of the plan of having those two. And those were the ones that I brought in fresh, whereas I moved the ones that I already had here to the left, so that I had them there sooner to deal with things like these little birds and the other helicopters that are currently getting resupplied further back. I'm able to see that here with the Mi-8 MTA, and I need artillery to kill it. So I brought some in, and you can see these poor Black Hawks that were landed going to get absolutely smashed now by the Akatsaya. Motostraki engaging the airborne gunners. Here come the AH-1Fs. This is what they have the Osas for. But I didn't expect them to have line of sight from that angle, because I thought these were quite deep in the forest here. You can see like these two, for example, can't be seen at all. So him managing to get rockets onto some of those was a bit unfortunate for me. I was able to take out two of those Motostraki very, very quickly indeed. Fresh T-80BV actually going to be pushing across the open here. I've got these two T-80BVs hanging out now, following up this one, so that we can contest any large armour pushes that Silhouette makes to try and take back some ground. So Mi-8 still floating around, bringing in more artillery fire. This one's going to be trying to engage the enemy infantry for us. And now I'm going to be trying to hit the enemy HGMs here and enemy AA. I think ideally, if I'd still had the MTLBs, then I could have maybe brought over some of these Sapori to help with this offensive, because this is a situation where like I'm getting bogged down, and having the Sapori would be really, really nice, but I've already committed like so many of them to the right hand side. I do have the Mi-24 P or VP up here, but that's not really very useful right now because again there's still AA here that I've got to worry about. Enemy artillery, or sorry, friendly artillery. Akatsaya does manage to take out the airborne leader on the left hand side, giving us back that sector. And here we have my infantry starting to push out into the open, but what I'm going to do is have the T-80BVs ready and waiting to engage. So the MTLB is moving forwards to provide recon, then the T-80BVs can engage that. Artillery still coming in on the landed Black Hawks further back. There goes one of the Humvee TOW2s, that's good. AH-1F though, managing to delete those very, very quickly. Didn't have the Osas in position in time. That was my mistake. And now, with the infantry dead, I can no longer see the Humvees, so the T-80BV going to be taking a big smack in the face. I'm really hoping at least that I can kill the AH-1F with the OSA before the TOW does the job here. You can also see that I fire positioned this area so that the AIRFORCE gets killed by the HE fire, but it wasn't really working out as I'd hoped. Anyway, finally killed the AH-1F there. Mi-24 VP is going to start to move forwards to help with the aero rifles, but the AIRFORCE manages to hit the mark and get the kill, and then a Stinger comes out of nowhere and smacks my Mi-24 VP. Now we got another staged tank engagement in the center. Multiple M1A1HAs up against T-80BVs and a T-80UD. Ideally, I need to get over here with my T-80BVs as soon as possible. He's done a lot of damage to these tanks, so there's potential for me to clean up. Managed to take out one of the M1A1HAs with this flank from the T-80BV there. Looking for the second one behind the float, or behind the smoke. Because I've got a good angle, this actually can work out potentially very well. F-16 coming over, goes straight over my Barusa. Osa's going to be trying to shoot that down. You managed to do so. That's going to crash into the mountain. That's exactly why I had all of that AA right there. Managed to take out the Bradley and the infantry inside, so that's a good kill. Continuing the engagement now against the M1A1. Because these are very stressed, their cohesion means they're less accurate. It means my T-80BVs are able to get some good hits in here, and that's a lovely side shot that I find. The silhouette tries to reverse out of the engagement. M2A2 Bradley's also getting picked off here. His push really not as well microed as it was before when he engaged the T-80UDs. And the great thing is in this situation is if an HGM's flying towards me like that Bradley, I can just reverse into cover to stop its track. So that Bradley going down, in this case, was probably checking elsewhere when that went down. But we're doing a ton of damage here. My artillery meanwhile is smashing this area just to try and get rid of some of that AA, so that my Mi-8 can move forwards. And you can see my Sapperly like finally running over here. But we are reaching the score limit of 2,000 points. Sneaky J is trying to push forward on the left hand side with a couple of M3A3s and his airborne units. But that is going to be all she wrote as we take the major victory at 38 minutes and 32 seconds. And what a game it was. I got 10,222 kills to 5,225 losses. Farks also went positive, so after what was a rough start for him, he did make a nice comeback with a little bit of help from my tanks. Yeah, it was a really fun game. The play from Sneaky was really interesting. Like, he managed to capture the right side sector very early on, and then made actually a very smart retreat to that town to defend that second sector after realizing he's probably not going to be able to retake the right hand sector without help from his ally. So instead he decided to, double down on the defense and help his ally instead contest and continue to control the sectors that were currently winning them the game. Unfortunately, we did manage to get the better of Silhouette in the end. Check out this T-80BV with 3 M1A1HA kills. The Su-25 there getting the catch on the Phantom 2 early on was really good. Like, making sure that I shut down all these Phantom 2s was super important. And then, whilst they did have like the Eagle from Silhouette, like, I was able to really clean house with these Su-27s, taking down the A-10s, taking down the F-16s, and just, yeah, being an absolute dominating force in the sky with those Su-27s. Obviously later on, not used so much, but other units took over. The BMP-3 there charging through, demolishing Sneaky's artillery, and this BMP-3 getting plenty of lovely kills as well on the left-hand side. The Akatsayas getting some Black Hawk kills at the end there. But ideally, I would have wanted to kill off these Humvees earlier on. Like, the defense of that town really came down to the Vulcan that was there, that I managed to kill off eventually, and the Humvee because I couldn't spot them fast enough with my units, because the Vulcan was stopping my helicopters from spotting, and then without the helicopters I'm unable to spot efficiently, and then the tanks can't see the HGMs, and the HGMs get the kills. I think like the second push into his town could have been a bit better from me. But it's very difficult to have the right forces in the right places when you're so far up on a map like that, because the reinforcements are coming in from a long way away. Anyway, a fantastic game. Really, really good one. I enjoyed it a lot. Thank you to my teammates for playing, and thank you, Fox, for joining me for this one. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. Thank you very much for watching, and I will see you guys in the next video. Goodbye.